Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm here to do a haul. I got some books from Amazon as well as some random pickups from Target, and I also got some books from Second and Charles again. So I want to show you guys the books that I picked up. Alright, so I'm going to start with the stack that I got from Second and Charles. So the first book is called Fake It Till You Bake It, and as you can see, I read like a few pages of this book just to get the feel of like what was going on in here. So this book is about a NFL star. I think his name is Donovan Dell. His name is Donovan Dell, and he has a bakery. And so he ends up hiring this girl, her, I assume on the cover, to work at his restaurant. And she has a bit of a past, as she was on a TV show and turned down one of the contestants. Like, she was gonna get engaged or something and she like turned him down. So yeah, that's the synopsis of this book. It's called Fake It Till You Bake It. It was cute. It looked like a cute fluffy romance, and this was $8.50. All right, so the next book I got is called The Wrong Mr. Darcy, and I don't know if y'all could see that, but it says Evelyn Lozada, and that is exactly who you're thinking about. Evelyn Lozada, that used to be a basketball wife. That's the Evelyn Lozada that wrote this book. And I don't even know what this book is about. Not really. It looks like they have a basketball on the cover, so let me read the first paragraph. Hara Azari has big ambitions, and she won't be sidetracked by her mother's insistence that she settle down soon. She dreamed of leaving her job at a small-town newspaper to begin a career as a sports writer. When Hara is chosen to exclusively interview a basketball superstar, she jumps at the chance. It's time to show the bigwigs what she's truly made of. At the same time, she meets Derek Darcy, a rookie on the rise. This looks like it's going to be a cute romance, and I saw the green of the cover on the bookshelf, which is what drew me to the book. And this was $8.50 as well. So I'm excited to read this. All right, the next book we have is called The Secret Side of Empty by Maria E. Andrew. The Secret Side of Empty. This was $4.95. In the back, this has a little blurb here. It says, I really want to do what Chelsea wants, but the thought of going to see the whole college experience unfold right in front of me like a sick little buffet of desserts in front of a homeless, hungry person makes me want to crawl under my covers and not come out until nothing matters anymore, like when I'm 24. So from that, what I took is that, like, she looks like she's on the street, or she looks like she doesn't have enough money to go to college, and maybe her friends in her life are like, oh, we're going to college or whatever. This is a YA book. I got this from the YA section. I'm trying to see. Oh wow, actually y'all, she is an immigrant, or I don't want to use the wrong term, but she is someone who is not supposed to be here. She's not here legally. So that's what this book is about. And obviously that's why she can't go to college, because she probably doesn't have the records to prove that, maybe. And also maybe she doesn't have the money. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be interesting. Okay, the next book is called The Fixer, Any Problem Can Be Fixed for a Price by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And this is what it looks like. Honestly, the cover drew me to this book. It says, Amelia hooked her arm through mine like we were the best of friends. You solve problems, she said again. I have a problem, ergo. You have a job for me. This conversation was starting to make so much more sense. You're barking up the wrong tree here, Amelia. So you're not the Tess Kendrick that Anna Hayden is wearing as a miracle worker? Another eyebrow arch. Anna's not exactly sharing what the miracle was, but she's a big fan and she has a big mouth. Okay, so this book was $5. I don't really understand what's going on. I did read that there's a girl and she ends up going to the same school as her sister, and her sister is like a fixer. And so I think she wants to be like her sister in that aspect of the term, and that's why they call this book The Fixer. And this does look like it's going to be interesting. I also got this from the YA section. Okay, the next book is called This Is Not a Personal Statement by Tracy. So this was $9.50. This looks brand new, by the way. It does not look used at all. Doesn't have anything on it, but let me read a little bit of the synopsis. At 16, Perla is the youngest graduating senior of the hyper-competitive Mount Verde High. Praised and not so quietly bashed as perfect Pearly Perez, Perla knows all the late-night social isolation and crushing stress will be worth it when she gets into the college of her and her parents' dreams, Delmont University. But then Perla is rejected and her meticulously planned future shatters. In a panic, she forges her own acceptance letter, and next thing she knows, her life spirals out of control and she's heading to Delmont for real, acceptance or not. Soon, Perla is breaking into dorm rooms, crashing classes, and dodging questions from new friends about her lack of a student ID. Her plan, gather on the ground intel so she can beef up her application to reapply spring semester. But as her guilty conscience grows and campus security looms large, Perla starts to wonder if her plan will really succeed, and if this dream she's worked for her entire life is something she even wants. Ooh, that was packed, right? So I guess that's why it's called This Is Not a Personal Statement. And I heard, or not heard, but I had read about this book on Amazon first, and then I saw it at the bookstore, and I was like, okay, I'm about to grab this. I don't know if I said the price was $9.50, but this looked really, really interesting. The fact that she's going to college and didn't really get in. I don't know. But yeah, it sounded interesting, so yeah, I'm excited to read this. The last book that I got from Second and Charles is called it's called Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. And this is the author of To Kill a Mockingbird. I've never read To Kill a Mockingbird, but I like the cover of this. And I know that Harper Lee is well known in like the literature world. This book was $11.85. And on the back, it just says, Every man's island, Jean Louise, every man's watchman is his conscience. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit about this. Macomb, Alabama. 26-year-old Jean Louise Finch, scout, returns home from New York City to visit her aging father, Atticus. Set against the backdrop of the civil rights tensions and political turmoil that were transforming the South, Jean Louise's homecoming turns bittersweet when she learns disturbing truths about her close-knit family, the town, and the people dearest to her. Memories from her childhood flood back and her values and assumptions are thrown into doubt. Featuring many of the iconic characters from To Kill a Mockingbird, Go Set a Watchman perfectly captures a young woman and a world in painful yet necessary transition out of the illusions of the past. A journey that can only be guided by one's own conscience. Written in the mid-1950s, Go Set a Watchman imparts a fuller, richer understanding and appreciation of Harper Lee. Okay, wow. So I didn't know the book was that old. Maybe they came out with a new cover and stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'm excited to read this. And that was it from Second and Charles. So I'm going to show you guys the books that I picked up from. I'm going to go ahead and go into the books that I picked up from Target first, and then we'll get into the rest of the books that I got from Amazon. All right, so I only got 2 books from Target. And the first one is called The Fine Print by Laura Asher. And this is the first book. I'm sure you all know and have heard about it. This book is really popular on Book Talk. And it is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. And so from my understanding, because I don't really want to read the back, but this young man has to prove himself, and a woman has an idea that's in the company, and he likes her idea. So he goes to put it in motion, and I think they, fall in love, maybe, probably. So this book is called The Fine Print. It is kind of thick, though. I'm excited to read this, though. And then the next book that I got is called Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know if this is controversial, but there have been things like about her books going around like on book talk and stuff, but I've never read anything by this author, so I want to create my own opinion about her. But this is about Daisy, and Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars, and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Also getting noticed is the Six, a band led by the brooding Billy Dunn. So I believe that Daisy and Billy are going to cross paths in this book, and basically, you know, what it's like to be in this band in the late 70s. Yeah, in the late 70s, right? I love historical fiction, so I will be excited to read this book. Oh, I'm sorry. It says the late 60s. So the late 60s, and the girl is in a band and she falls in love with the guy. All right, now we're gonna get into the stack that I got from Amazon. So let's get started. So the first book that I got is called Diane, and it's by Diane Carroll with Ross Firestone, and it is the first biography that she came out with. Pretty sure I got this used. This book came out in 1987. She did write another book before she passed away, and that book was called The Legs Are the First to Go or something like that. I eventually want to read that book as well. What made me interested in this book is it was on someone's memoirs to read, but I've also always thought that Diane Carroll was a classy lady, a classy actress, and also the fact that she was given the first, or not given, but she was the first African-American woman to have her own primetime sitcom, I think, called Julia. So I was very excited to read this. I didn't know that fact until probably sometime after I read Cicely Tyson's memoir. And if you haven't read Cicely Tyson's memoir, I believe they were good friends. Yeah, she mentions her in the book. They were good friends, which is why I wanted to read it. Cicely Tyson's memoir was great. It was great. I would read it again. I read it back in, I believe it came out in 2021. I read it back then, and I'll read it again. It's one of the memoirs that I feel like it was just a great story, and it's the story of her life. I'm so happy she did that before she passed away. But anyways, yeah, so this book, I wanted to know more about her life, her career. Also, recently I watched Paris Blues. It was not my favorite movie, but she's in the movie. Her and Sidney Poitier. And if you know anything about Diane Carroll, you know that they had a little something going on. I hope this is interesting, and I plan to get the next the other biography that she came out with as well. All right, the next book we have is called Ties That Tether, and this is about a Nigerian girl who ends up falling in love with a white man. So it is an interracial love story. I don't know if it's a fluffy romance, but she wonders if the fact that she fell in love with this man make her any less Nigerian, which I hope the answer to that question is no, but I will need to read the book to figure that out. This sounds like it's going to be an interesting story. All right, the next book is called Have We Met? And this is, it says on the back, a love story of misconnections. After losing her best friend to cancer, Corinne's life is in flux. She has moved back to Chicago, is considering her next career move or temp job, and has absolutely no time to look for love until a mysterious dating app called Met suddenly appears on her phone. And with it, an invitation for Corinne to reconnect with 4 misconnections from her past. One of them, Met says, is her soulmate. So that sounds interesting. I love the cover of this book, how bright it is as well. So, Have We Met? Yes, this looks good, or it sounds good. I said looks good. It sounds good. It sounds good and it looks good. Okay, the next book that I have is called The Black Girls Left Standing. All of these books are recommendations, by the way. This one, the last one that I showed you guys, was recommended by Chauncey Schroeder here on YouTube. I follow her on all her social media platforms, so she recommended on one of them. I don't remember exactly like the video though. And this one was recommended by another young lady on TikTok. And like I said, it's called The Black Girls Left Standing. And yeah, this one, okay, so it's Juliana Goodman's debut book. So 16-year-old Bo Willett has dreams of being an artist and one day leaving the Chicago project she's grown up in. But after her older sister Katia is killed by an off-duty police officer, Bo knows she has to clear her sister's name by finding the only witness to the murder, Katia's no-good boyfriend Jordan, who has gone missing. If she doesn't find him and tell the world what really happened, Katia's death will be ignored, like the deaths of so many other black women who are wrongfully killed. With the help of her friend Sonnet, Bo starts looking for answers, but the more that Bo finds out about her sister's death, the more danger she finds herself in. And with the new relationship developing with her childhood friend Champion and the struggle to keep her family together, Bo is soon and way over her head. How much is she willing to risk to clear her sister's name and make sure she's not forgotten? That sounds like a lot for a 16-year-old to be taken on. I'm excited to read this. And I saw this, like I said, in one young lady's TikTok, and she gave this either 4 or 5 stars, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely about to read this book. All right, and then the next book that I have is called When Stars Rain Down. When Stars Rain Down by Angela Jackson Brown. Okay, so this is a historical fiction book. I got this recommendation off TikTok as well, and this was in a video. I remember the video was like, if you want to read something that's gonna make you cry, which I usually don't. I'm usually not interested in that at all. But but I love historical fiction, so like I already said. But yeah, I'm gonna read the first paragraph because the blurb on here is kind of long. Okay, so it says the summer of 1936 in Parsons, Georgia is unseasonably hot, and Opal Pruitt senses a nameless storm brewing. She hopes this excuse me. She hopes this foreboding feeling won't overshadow her upcoming 18th birthday or the annual Founder Day celebration in just a few weeks. She and her grandma Birdie work as housekeepers for the White Widow, Miss Peggy, and Opal desperately wants some time to be young and carefree with her cousins and friends. But when the Ku Klux Klan descends on Opal's neighborhood, the tight-knit community is shaken in every way possible. And I'm going to just finish reading it there so you kind of have an idea of what this book is going to be about. And while they said that the person who made the video said that this was sad, they said it was a great read. So I definitely want to check this out. All right, so the next book that I have is called Never by Jessa Hastings. And this is the author who wrote Magnolia Parks, the Magnolia Parks series. And this is about a young girl who is between Peter Pan and Captain Hook's son. That alone had me interested because it sounded like a fairy tale. Also, look at this cover. Look how beautiful that is. And I didn't know that it would be so smooth. I love smooth covers like this. Yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit on the back for you guys so you'll know what this is about. Never is an awfully long time. Growing up, Daphne always knew Peter Pan would come for her, the way he'd come for her mother and her grandmother, Wendy before that, the Darling Girls. Their stories are all the same. The forever young boy at their window after their 13th birthday in the shimmering magical land behind a star. When Peter doesn't show for Daphne until she's 17, inexplicably full grown and with no excuse for his tardiness, Daphne doesn't know what to think. Still, she has always been told that Peter Pan is her destiny. It's beyond choice to take his hand and leap into the stars no matter what comes next. But in Neverland, Peter's true colors begin to show. One moment, he's making Daphne's heart flutter, and the next, he's forgotten her entirely. So when Daphne stumbles into the path of Jameson Hook, the pirate son of Peter's nemesis, she lets herself get swept up in his vulgar charm, despite the warning signs. So doesn't that sound interesting, y'all? I can't wait to read this. Can't wait. It's called Never, and I believe this came out last year. I think it came out like at the end of last year, I think. Don't quote me. So next, we have Binding 13. Our last two books are Binding 13 and Keeping 13, by Chloe Walsh. And obviously this is a series, and I've been sticking to the I'm gonna buy 2 books in a series rule, especially if it's, you know, 5 or 6 books. So I bought the first 2. I'm sure y'all have heard about this book. This has been on Book Talk and, you know, all around social media very, very heavily, but it's the story of Johnny and Shannon. And so I'm very interested to read this. Yeah, I hope this series is good. And if not, then yeah, I don't know, probably will tell y'all that I didn't enjoy it, but I hope it's good. Binding 13 and Keeping 13. These books are not thin, y'all. They're not thin. So yeah, I hope this is a good read. It is a romance, and they are in high school, I think. I'm pretty sure they're in high school. That is all the books that I got from Amazon, Second and Charles, and Target. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.